Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Harmony of Dissonance on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. In the last episode, we managed to successfully take down Legion Saint, and yes, there is a evil version of Legion that's in the first castle, but we won't be fighting him for quite some time. But now we get introduced to an aspect of the game that isn't actually expanded on that much. Instead of calling the recolors of enemies totally different enemies, several of the enemy types end up having have levels attached to them, but they're effectively buffed recolors, to be perfectly honest. Ooh, turkey.
The turkey! Gobble, gobble, gobble.
And here we have one of the better grinding spots for me later on, where we have to fight skeleton mirrors. Skeleton mirrors are relatively tanky at this point in the game, but we'll eventually be able to two-shot them. And once we can have the ability to do that, I could use this room for grinding. I don't actually ever need to do grinding in this game, thankfully. It's kind of weird, honestly. This is one of the Igavanias that, along with Symphony of Night, is a bit too easy through most of it. The big problems that you'll come across when it comes to Harmony of Dissonance and Symphony of the Night, to be perfectly honest, are traversing the castles.
I say what adds to the ease is that Juice moves really fast.
Yeah,
and
Juice combat mobility specifically is really fast. His normal mobility is arguably slower than a majority of the rest of the Igavania protagonists. But now we have the Aqueduct of Dragons, and yes, we do actually want to explore this area past Gerdat. It's just that
Bone Liquid.
Bone Liquid is a powered-down version of the red skeletons that we saw earlier. But here, we have the upgraded version of the Bone Liquid, the Melty Zombie. Melty Zombies are worth a fuck ton of fucking experience. And I don't know why, because I don't even know if these guys have a fucking attack animation. Juice can just sit in front of them and whip them, and pretty much regardless of how powerful he is, they just die because they constantly get stun-locked.
Now Castlevania is getting straight Dr. Seuss on me.
Well, you should recognize the Melty Zombie as what is effectively the zombie dragon from Dark Souls, right? Undead dragon, rather.
Let me take another look at it again. I mean, honestly, he's closer to Guardian Ape because of the blade sticking out of his body from Sekiro.
Ah, okay.
And I would not be surprised if that's right. The Guardian Ape is technically a zombie because that's how it survived the death blow in the first place. Was it had the Waters of Rejuvenation sustain it? I can't even think of a single word in the English language that rhymes with the word melty.
Well, there's Runty, but and Grunty, but those are technically names. The Aqueduct of Dragons is extremely important for both castles because it allows us to get access to the lower part of the clock tower, as well as the lower part of the castle in general. However, that only really becomes relevant once we get back to the first castle. This episode is all about us exploring the eastern side of the second castle, because we won't be seeing the western side of the castle until effectively the end of the game again.
Whoa. Holy shit, what an explosion of
There's
activity.
a reason why this
room
is like this. This is actually supposed to be a mini boss encounter, and it will be a boss encounter in the first castle.
Really? You could just run past everybody? That is stupid.
Well, the reason why you can run past everybody is because right now it is not actually a boss encounter. Again, it's supposed to be a mini boss encounter that is tied to a boss encounter in the other castle.
Man, I thought Legion was surprising because it did not give you any warning whatsoever that there was a boss on the other side of the door, and a really, really big boss.
No, they had a boss door there.
That corridor was screaming at me as soon as we walked into that room.
Yeah, Duke wanted to do that every once in a while, but it had problems actually executing on doing that.
The only other game I could think of that would be that scary would be running into a monster house in Chocobo's mysterious dungeon.
Don't remind me of monster houses. I still hate that goddamn mechanic. I do. It has a tendency of just killing your fucking run. It really does.
Must be prepared for anything.
Including the impossible shit.
Almost there.
Yay!
Until it clicks.
Now that we have successfully done that, we can walk. Yes, walk. We still don't have access to our fast travel skill. All the way back up to the upper part of Clock Tower in order to go claim our prize. Because unfortunately for us, this part of the Clock Tower, as I will be showing off in just a moment here, is blocked off by this stupid fucking wall. So yes, we have to walk back in order to go get our prize. And it is extremely important that we get this as the final third of the game does not progress without this prize.
Some mysteries must be solved. Axe. Money.
Now, for those
Dagger.
of you that are watching in the future that are saying, "Well, wait a minute, what do you mean final third of the game? You guys still have a whole 10 parts left, and we're only on part 8." Well, that's because a majority of the rest of the game, at least of what I recorded, is us doing boss cleanup. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I agree that Salamandra is easily the best option you have against attacking multiple targets.
At least in this specific room. But I mean, it's supposed to be high damage on single targets, but since the salamanders actually persist after you use them, after they kill the first target and go into another one, assuming that they have enough damage output, they can, effectively clear a room that has multiple hostiles in it. More melty zombies. I think the melty zombie has another drop aside from the iron skull cap that they already dropped for us. I forget if it's just a 250 coin bag or not.
It's the beggar's money before the beggar mutated into a giant half body of a zombie.
Yeah, let the zombie spawn, then walk backwards and thwap him.
Thwap him till he's gone.
Come on, Bone Liquid, spawn up. Thwap! We are Juice, master of the whip thwap.
Master of the, come on, don't be shy, and whack.
It is a very important combo that all Belmonts should learn. Patience before success, you know? So have you ever played a game where you end up finding multiple grinding spots but don't realize that that's what they are until way later?
Well, and I've come to realize when a place has become grindy, when it's in my best interest to level up. But when was the last time that I went to a grind spot not realizing that it was a grind spot? I mean, there's some grind spots that I only discovered because I revisited the place and then realized, there are a lot of really high experience enemies in this area. I should make note of that. The shield on the skeleton mirror looks like it's trolling you.
Nah, it's a smiley face.
It is a smiley face, I know it. It's not just the buckles in the shield bullshit. That is 2 eyes and a cheesy grin.
Alright, so since we still haven't seen it, I'm gonna spoil what the big difference between Axe Armor level 1 and 2 is. There it is. Axe Armor level 2 has invincible charge attack that it will go into an extremely defensive stance with its axe raised up, and it is impervious to physical damage while it's in that stance. And it is charging up a rather long distance charge attack that will do a sizable amount of damage to you. Juice doesn't really have any good answers for that aside from just waiting it out and attempting to jump over him. But he doesn't really need any because Juice, is, well, mostly capable.
You have a long time to get out of the way, and Juice doesn't even need that much time because of his speed. That's like the third level up we've gotten since the start of this video.
Yeah, the melty zombies give a fuck ton of experience. And for the record, so do the axe armor level 2s, but the axe armor level 2s are not the thing that I end up wanting to grind on. Although they have one of the better armor drops that an enemy can drop in the game.
Time to go up.
Well, it's not actually. There's very little up here that we need. But you know, it is important to explore the castle for the casual experience. See, invulnerability frames. Blech.
Level up. Jesus Christ.
Yes, the axe armor level 2s are give a shit ton of fucking experience. Damn it, damn it, flying bone. And for coming up here, we get the king-size bed. Woohoo!
Yeah, king-size bed. We'll just put it in our pocket and walk out with it.
Yeah, we don't need to question the space bending properties of the decor room items.
It's a Bill's PC for furniture.
Yes, if I were better at the game, the max hearts would honestly be rather useful because both the cross and the flurry of blows sub weapons hit multiple times and deal with projectiles relatively well. But I'm not, and I don't want to turn off my spell book. So there. Like, once we get our third spell book, I think I have the ability to turn on no spells. But right now, I'm pretty sure with only two spells, it would end up being stuck at with at least an element on.
An unexplored area.
But there's nothing
That's the skewer. That's the skewer. Skeleton Man got impaled on the skewer because that is also what the historical Vlad Dracula did, was he impaled many of his victims on spikes, ass to mouth.
Alright, and with this, we have successfully acquired the Crushing Stone. The Crushing Stone, despite it having less attack power than any of the elemental stores that we'll pick up, is a required item, because you need it in order to break through, well, damaged walls. And we've seen several damaged walls already, Mr. Cloud. Thing is, the damaged walls that we've seen aren't really all that important. We're missing a specific damaged wall that we need to go find in the first castle, as we are still in the second castle, in order to make some pretty significant progress.
So the whole point of the two-castle thing is so that the game is not really loading two different maps. It's loading the same map, just with one of two different textures on it.
That's the thing, though. They are two separate maps, and this is made most true by the merman and fishman, and the merman and fishman room, because
and the sharkman,
because the enemy loadouts and individual encounter data for every room is different alongside their overall graphical tone.
I mean, that's true. It reminds me of one of the designers for Crash Bandicoot 1 talking how like every segment of the game had to consume about the same amount of memory so that the game could transition smoothly from area to area. That it's the difference between having a house and just putting different furniture in it than having, you know, to switch the house altogether. Size, dimensions, volume. All you're doing is just changing what's inside of it.
And in the next episode, some plot.